Today's story is a chilling reminder of why some places are best left unexplored. Deep in northwestern Canada lies the Northwest Territories, a vast, untamed land where very few people live. To put it in perspective, Germany has a population of around 83 million, while the Northwest Territories, which is 4 times larger, has only about 50,000 residents. It's a place of dense forests, towering mountains, massive rivers, and an abundance of wildlife. Even for the most experienced outdoorsman, it can be a perilous place. But within this already dangerous region, there is one area that stands out as the most treacherous: the Nahanni Valley. In 1976, the Nahanni Valley was designated a national park. But don't let that fool you. This is not a family-friendly tourist destination. There are no roads leading into it, no hotels, and no accommodations of any kind. The only way in is by plane, boat, or an exhausting and dangerous hike. For those who make the journey, they are met with breathtaking, untouched wilderness. A place that feels as if it has never been touched by man. However, there is a reason why so few dare to enter. For the last 10,000 years, indigenous tribes that attempted to settle in the Nahanni Valley have either disappeared without a trace or fled in terror. The Naha tribe, for example, vanished overnight, leaving behind their shelters, food, and belongings as if they had simply evaporated. Others told stories of being hunted by eerie white figures or massive wolves they called wahilas. For centuries, these stories were dismissed as folklore. But starting in the early 1900s, terrifying events began to unfold that could not be ignored. In 1904, 3 brothers, Willie, Frank, and Charlie McLeod, decided to try their luck at gold prospecting in the Nahanni Valley. Given how isolated the area was, they figured that any gold there was likely untouched. After a grueling journey using sled dogs, boats, and sheer determination, they finally arrived at the Flat River, which runs through the heart of the valley. The name is misleading, as the river is anything but flat. It's a raging rapid in many areas. After setting up camp, the brothers placed their gold sluices in the river and almost immediately struck gold. They worked tirelessly, gathering as much as they could, filling their containers to the brim. But just as they were about to leave, disaster struck. Their boat capsized in the violent rapids, and their entire haul of gold sank to the bottom. Devastated but undeterred, they managed to recover some supplies, build a makeshift boat, and return to their original site to try again. This time, however, they found nothing. Frustrated and out of options, they decided to return home. Back in town, the 2 younger brothers, Willie and Frank, were determined to go back. Charlie, shaken by the near-death experience, opted out. A few months later, in 1905, Willie and Frank, along with a friend named Robert Weir, set off back into the valley. They told no one how long they would be gone, and when weeks turned into months without any word, Charlie assumed they had struck gold and decided to stay longer. But as the months stretched into years, doubt began to creep in. After 2 years of silence, Charlie could no longer ignore the unease. He gathered a search party and ventured into the Nahanni Valley to find his brothers. After a brutal trek, they arrived at the Flat River and began scanning the shores for any sign of them. Eventually, they came across a campsite, but something was terribly wrong. Lying outside the tent was a body, headless. The corpse was charred, its clothes burned, and its right hand was outstretched toward a rifle propped against a tree. Behind the tent, they found another body, half in and half out of the tent, also missing its head. Despite searching the area, the heads were never found. However, personal belongings confirmed that these were Charlie's brothers. As for Robert, there was no trace of him until months later when a partial skeleton was found downstream. Authorities speculated it was Robert, but it was never confirmed. A nearby tree had been carved with the words, "We have found a fine prospect," indicating they had indeed found gold. But there was no gold in the camp, no signs of it anywhere. The official cause of death, according to police, was starvation, with animals scavenging their remains. Charlie never believed that. He suspected an attack, but by whom or what remained a mystery. When news of the gruesome discovery spread, people were horrified. Some believed Robert had killed the brothers for the gold and fled. Others thought they had been attacked by something lurking in the valley. The place where their bodies were found became known as Headless Valley, and after that, few dared to venture there. 8 years later, in 1913, a gold prospector named Martin Jorgensen ignored the warnings and entered the valley alone. He set up camp, struck gold, and sent word to his partners that he had hit it big. The following summer, his partners arrived at their meeting point, but Martin never showed. Concerned, they ventured into the valley, only to find his cabin burned to the ground. Lying next to the smoldering ruins was Martin's body, headless. His skull was never found. His gold was gone. Despite these deaths, more prospectors continued to try their luck in Headless Valley, and the pattern of mysterious deaths continued. In 1921, a prospector named John O'Brien was found frozen to death in front of an unlit fire, his body positioned as if he had been flash frozen in an instant. In 1926, a young woman named Annie Lafferty vanished overnight while on a hunting trip. Months later, a man reported seeing a naked woman running on all fours up a rocky slope, her face twisted in terror, before she disappeared into the wilderness. In 1931, another prospector, Phil Powers, burned to death in his cabin under suspicious circumstances. 5 years later, in 1936, two more gold miners, William Epler and Joseph Mulholland, entered the valley and were never seen again. Their cabin was later found burned to the ground. Their bodies never recovered. In 1945, another prospector, Ernest Savard, was found inside his sleeping bag, headless. By the mid-1940s, the number of missing and dead had climbed so high that fewer and fewer people dared to enter the valley. Today, large sections of the Nahanni National Park have been permanently closed. Officially, it's to protect the natural environment. But many believe it's to keep people out, because whatever lurks in the Nahanni Valley, it's still there. So what do you think? Is there something sinister hiding in the Nahanni Valley? Or are these just a series of eerie coincidences?